So I've got this whole thing all put together from end to end, and it looks pretty sweet. But there are problems lurking. One of those problems being that these boards right here, as tightly fit as they are together, I mean there's still some little gaps here and there, but overall, as tightly fit as they are together, they can still move independent of each other. The other problem is that these mortise and tenon joints here, outside of extreme tension from the boards wanting to go all different directions, there's nothing holding them together. There's no glue. I didn't use any hardware. And with changes in temperature, changes in humidity, all that other good stuff, we're bound to encounter some fluctuations in our table. And we don't want it to come apart. And that is where our recycled axe handle pegs come into play. We're going to hold this whole thing together with just these little guys. But in order to do so, I first need to take it all back apart. Now I mentioned there being some serious tension on these boards. Main reason being that even as flat as I got all the surfaces, the boards are still want to turn a little bit. So it took me quite a bit of fighting to get them all smashed together so that I could get the end piece on here. I'm primarily running video right now just in case when I pop this end off the whole thing explodes and they wonder what happened to me. This will serve as video evidence. So I have a little fortunate accident here due to the fact that I shaved off a bunch of the surfaces, the mating surfaces of these boards. I have a little bit of an extra tail here, actually on this one and on the other one. I'm glad that I do, because that gives me a little surface to knock this thing back apart. That wasn't bad. Now with the whole thing taken all back apart, I'm going to turn them up on edge. I'm going to match them up as perfectly as I can, which I want to be pretty much perfect. Now I'm going to clamp them so that they don't move. Now with my trusty framing square, I'm going to go ahead and mark across all of them at the same spot. Right at the halfway mark. And then I'm going to mark both ends half of that measurement again. And since doing it like this leaves two edges, two mating edges that is, unaccounted for, now I need to flip the two middle ones while leaving the other ones in the same spot. And mark those two surfaces that I didn't get a minute ago. Now I just measured and marked the halfway point on this board width-wise, thickness-wise rather, so 3/4 of an inch. Now I need to reset my little gizmo here to match that, because I want to duplicate and mark that measurement throughout this whole next step. Perfect. So now I'm going to mark right there, starting from what will be the top surface. So here, and then I'll figure out what's the top surface on the next one and the next one. And I already know that on this one it's the outer surface, so I will again mark from the top surface, mark a little X there on all my marks. So what's all this top surface funny business all about? Well, I'm going to drill holes in the edge of each of these boards at each of these spots, and given the fact that I measured from what I want to be the top surface regardless of how thick the board is or not, if I've measured from the same surface, where all those dowels go together, it should, theoretically, if my measurements and all my marks are good, it should bring the surface of this table pretty doggone close to level. And it will stop it from doing like that as people jump on top of the table, or the weather changes, or whatever. Now with those all drilled and ready to go, I'm going to lay this all back out and start on the solution to the next problem, being how to keep our mortise and tenon joints from coming apart. So for the next part of this challenge, I'm going to employ the draw bore pegging technique, which is, if you didn't see it in the earlier video, it's where you drill the holes not quite lined up, so that when you hammer the peg through, it pulls everything nice and tight together like so. Since this doesn't need to be quite as precise as the some of the other marking for the tenons, I'm just going to go ahead and use my little compass here, and I'm going to mark back an inch from the edge where the end piece meets the end here. Now with that done, from the beginning of each opening, let's see, can you see that there? Alright, from the beginning of each opening, I'm going to mark in 1.5 inches. What I'm doing with these measurements is massively overthinking things. I don't know, maybe not. I'm trying to split the difference between how deep into this the peg goes, but the deeper that the peg is into here, giving more grab here, it also gets further towards the end of the tenon here, giving that less strength. So I'm splitting the difference, and I'm going right halfway and about splitting the difference widthwise with the placement. Now with these marked, I'm going to drill all the way through without it installed on the tenon. I also want to be really careful when I get through to the other side that I don't drill all the way through. I'm going to stop when the drill bit just starts poking through the bottom there. That way I can flip it over and start the hole from the other side and not have it tear out. Now with those holes drilled, I'll go ahead and put this one by one onto the place where it's going to go. I'm going to seat it nice and firmly, and then I'm going to take the same drill bit I just drilled the holes with. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm just going to mark. Now I'll take it back off, and check out my two little marks right there. There and there. So what I want to do, I want to move that mark closer to the board by about 1/16 of an inch. Doesn't take much. And do the same with this one. And that is where I'll drill the holes for my draw bore. Once again, not drilling all the way through. Now observe, if you will, final assembly of the tabletop. Couple little tiny shims in here for some fine tuning on one here.
Who needs a ratchet strap? Almost as though you yourself were sitting at Promontory Point, the Golden Spike.
And there it is. Construction of the tabletop is complete. It's not perfect. There are some gaps. There are some things that I'm not crazy about. But for my very first humongous timber frame-esque table, I'm going to have to be okay with it. There's still some smoothing to do. There's still some staining to do. The tabletop itself is not done. But now I'm finished building it.
Join me on the next video and we're going to start making some legs for this thing. We might, just might, be able to complete it in the next video. So thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate you spending your time here. And if you liked it, click the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, click the thumbs down with the caveat that you have to leave a comment saying why. And share it with a friend if you got somebody that you know that likes watching this kind of stuff. So, thanks again. We'll see you next time.